Hello and welcome to West Training and Fitness. This is Leon and Cassandra giving you a video today for shoulder and neck pain. A lot of people have tight neck muscles and shoulder muscles. It's going to kind of work on both since a lot of them intertwine and overlap. A lot of the muscles from your rotator cuff, your neck, just shoulder girdle in general are going to get worked on today. We're going to lengthen them out first by stretching, then we'll get into some of the strengthening stuff and see if we can't work out a bit of the kinks that you've probably been experiencing since most of America at some point experiences neck or back pain. We're also going to make a low back video a little bit later on as part of kind of a series, just trying to work on a little bit of the rehab that I've learned while working at a physical therapy office. So let's get into it. Right before we get into it, just a quick warning is that we are going to move through things really fast. We're only going to do one set of each thing. I'm probably going to direct you to repeat what you do need to repeat. So for example, one stretch we have 3 times, do it for 30 seconds on each of those times. We're going to do it 1 time for 30 seconds. You can move through and repeat as needed, pausing, playing. Since this will be on YouTube, it'll be quick and easy to do. Just a quick warning for you. So to get into the warm-up, we're going to have you try and do some shoulder circles. We want you moving in a small range of motion if you can. We'll have Cassandra start demonstrating. You're going to do 10 circles in each direction. So you can begin. This is an as tolerated exercise, so only do as much range of motion as you can, and if you can't come up as high, it's okay to start down low if that's where your range of motion is. And then after she finishes the 10 forward, she'll go 10, reverse it. Of course, you can only move as much as you're able to. After she finishes these 10, she's then going to go into bigger circles. You might experience some popping, some crepitations as they call it. As long as you're not experiencing pain through it, you're okay to go. If you need to break it up because you're getting tired, feeling the burn, as Cassandra probably is, you can stop and you can just do 4 sets of 10 essentially. Big circles one more time in reverse order, or reverse motion. We really just want to warm up a lot of the shoulders because a lot of the muscles that are connected to your shoulders go all the way up to your neck and then go all the way kind of down along the spinal column. So we are finished with those. We're going to get into some of the next stretches now. We're going to start by going with a side bend. And you're essentially just allowing that shoulder to drop to, or ear to drop to the shoulder. We're going to hold all these ones for 10 seconds, and we're going to do 5 of each of them. And that's for each direction. So 5 on the left, 5 on the right side. Switch over to the other side. Pause as needed. We're going to run through it in a faster order. We're just going to do 1 of each thing just to demonstrate it and allow you to move at your own pace. Kind of work on what you feel you really need. She'll go drop the chin to chest next. Just allowing the weight of her head to kind of sink forward. Not pulling it down or anything, just relaxing. If any of this does hurt or you're feeling pinching, sharp pains, reduce your range of motion. We're going to go ahead and go up. You want to definitely move through a pain-free range of motion through all these moves. These are just general guidelines. Of course, I'm not a doctor, so I can't prescribe this, but it is a general way to loosen up and kind of stretch out some of the neck muscles that we all have. Next one we're going to do is a rotation. So you're just looking over the side of your shoulder, and you just stay in that same position. Again, we're doing all these ones 10 seconds, 5 times 2 each side. So it'll be 10 total for each of the stretches if it's a left and right, or the up and down stretch as well. She'll be doing the counting on her own. We'll allow you to do this. Again, pause it, move through as you need to. Okay, now you're going to pause if you need to, and we'll move on to the next one, but just repeat as needed. Okay, the next stretch we're going to do is the doorway stretch. So we'll have Cassandra turn around to demonstrate. I want you to start low, especially if you have shoulder pain or shoulder limitations. You're going to start about your hip width or hip height. So then you'll just have a staggered stance, stepping through the doorway. We don't want you leaning in through it, putting a lot more extra strain and stress through the shoulder. We just want you to step through and allow your shoulders to gently get a stretch. A lot of times you start with straight arms. As you become more and more flexible, you can have your arms bent back. This is very easy for Cassandra. We're going to do 3 times for 30 seconds. So we'll have her take a break on this side, or this, go up. We're going to have her start chest height because she is pretty flexible. She doesn't have any shoulder pains. So I'll have you step through, and this will be her second time for 30 seconds. You'll just repeat as needed. Listen to your body. If it's telling you, one side hurts, ease up on that side. You really want to try and stay even though. Pretty much everyone's going to favor one side leaning into that side that either has more flexibility to it or veering away from the side that has more pain, less range of motion through it. So after you're done, hold that for 30 seconds. We'll have you relax, repeat again, until you do feel like your shoulder's stretched and not in as much pain, hopefully. Next two neck movements we're going to have are going to be cervical retraction and cervical rotation. Cervical just being the upper part of your spine. I have a ball here we're going to use. It's a little pumped up. It's pumped up a little bit higher than I would usually use. I'd probably deflate it to about halfway to where it's quite squishy to do this movement with. You can also use a pillow if you need to, if you don't have any sort of ball and just pillow and cushioning that you could use against your head. So the first one we're going to do is you're going to take where I have the bump in the back of my head. You're going to take that, you're just going to push back. You're not going like this, and you're not going like this, you're going just straight back. So back and tuck in the chin in one movement. So I'm going to demonstrate that one. We're going to do each of these movements for a total of 10 seconds, and you're going to do it 5 times in each direction. So the first one being back, hold it right to the head, and you're just going to, without moving your body, so we don't want you leaning into it, we want only your head movement. You're going to hold those, 10 seconds on each of those. Okay? It's going to kind of combat and fight some of that movement that a lot of people keep their neck in. A lot of kyphosis that older people will experience, leaning a lot of their neck forward, and then a lot of people sitting in their kind of texting position or driving position, sitting at a desk. Just a lot of people end up sitting their head forward like this, get the bad bump in the neck. We want you to be able to keep upright, keeping that natural curve of the spine as much as we can. I call this the double chin for obvious reasons. So after you finish those, we'll have Cassandra demonstrate just the rotation. So again, just rotating the head, looking over that shoulder, 5 times on each side for a total of 10, holding for 10 seconds. And if it's hurting in any of these positions, just lessen how far you move. Just shorten that range of motion to what is comfortable. But you're going to experience a little bit of discomfort when you're doing a lot of stretches. Anyone who's inflexible like I am, they know that stretching is not the comfortable or most fun thing you can do, but it's a necessary evil for prevention and rehab. You should look over the other side. I'm just going to repeat these back and forth until you finish all you need. We'll keep the shoulders squared up as much as we can and only use the neck to rotate. So throughout all these movements, you don't really want a lot of the body moving forward or backwards. You don't want to be leaning so far back against it that's going to cause you to crank your neck forward or trying to fight that. You should be standing probably about 4 or 5 inches away from the wall, completing the movements over and over again as needed. So repeat until you finish those 5 times in each direction for each movement. 10-second holds. So for the next movement we're going to do, shoulder stretching. This may be really uncomfortable for some people who don't get their shoulder in a higher range of motion, but you can find pretty much a doorway anywhere. Ideally, it's something that you can kind of grab onto, so we have a post that is squared off right here to get easy grip on. So we'll have you right in front of yourself, putting your fingers here, about chest height, and just walking your fingers up. So Sandra will demonstrate walking your fingers up. If you have a really good range of motion, you can kind of skip to halfway up. Cassandra doesn't have any shoulder pains or problems, so she can get up pretty high. And the higher you get, the closer you can bring your body to the wall until you get to wherever your end range of motion is, and you're just going to have hold. If you get all the way to the top of something, just grip around the top of it, hold there. We're going to have you hold for 10 seconds wherever the highest point is. Back off if it feels some pain, some inability to move, some end range of motion. Not going into anything that's painful. So after you've done your 10-second hold, you'll go back down, and then you will just repeat until you hit 10. And the second part of it is that you will face the other direction. So you'll face towards this way, take a little step back around here, Sandra, and then come with your hand out to the side of your body. So you'll stand right in line with your shoulder so that you're squared off here, and then you will just walk the fingers up all the same as you just did, getting to wherever the end range is. Some people start a little closer. Some people, if you have more range of motion, you can start with your arms out extended and then crawl up and get to wherever your end range of motion is. allowing yourself to scoot closer to the wall if you have that flexibility and range of motion in the shoulder. Same hold, 10 seconds. We're going to do it 10 times. Repeat as needed. Let yourself come back down. And relaxing. Okay, and that finishes up the stretches, so we can get into some of the workout and strengthening portion of this exercise video now. We're going to get into some of the resistance training stuff. This one is going to be called Posturals, because I'm just going to demonstrate it. You make an X motion, so you'll first go in this direction. You'll do 10 of them in each position. So the more in you grab, aka the closer it is your hands are together, the harder it'll be. The wider you go, the easier it'll be. This is a resistance band that I got at Walmart. It's just a cheap one that you can buy. There's a set of 3, easy, medium, and hard. This being the easiest resistance of them all. You don't have to crank this one really hard. Switch over the other direction. Also, if you can't get up so high because you have limited range of motion in your shoulders or pain, you can just decrease the angle in which you're making the X at. And you want to be really pulling your back muscles together when you're doing this, not just pulling right here. And your arm should remain straight the whole time while you're doing it. So after you finish these 10, then you can give yourself a break if you need to. The next one will be at shoulder height. Kind of same thing, just pulling using your back, just kind of opening up your chest. 10 right to the chest. And when you finish those 10, then you lower it a little bit and go right to the waist. Again, if you need a break, feel free. You are doing 40 reps in a row. If you feel like it's really, really easy, you can maybe go through again if you need to. Palms still face down, opening up right above the waistline. Or really above the belly button is where it should be. It's the final position. So you're just pulling with your back muscles. You'll feel a lot of your shoulders start to burn probably for this last set of 10 out of 40 total. The wider you grab, the easier it is. If you feel like it's not enough of a challenge, you're not getting anything, narrow the grip, and then the end range will be a lot tighter for you. Okay. So for this next exercise, we're going to work on a lot of those small rotator cuff muscles. I usually use a rolled up towel just to fit underneath the arm. You'll hold it up against the ribs and the elbow. You'll keep the elbow at 90 degrees. I'm going to hold on to that. I'll hold on to it for her, but she'll just rotate inward as if she's closing or opening the door, keeping the elbow at 90 degrees. You're going to do 10. You can do 10 for both directions. So we're going to go inside. This is called an internal rotation of the shoulder joint. After you finish your 10 there, you can either use the same arm or you can switch over. We're going to do the same one and just do the equal but opposite move. So this is the external rotation of the shoulder joint. You're going to feel a very specific and intense burn, and if you need to wrap this around a door handle or loop it around something, feel free. I'll hold it for her since I'm right here. And once she finishes her 10, you can switch sides, or you can just use the one shoulder side that you're affected with. Say if you have shoulder pain in your right side, or you've had a rotator cuff repaired, you can just work on that one side. But a lot of people work on both sides just to maintain healthy shoulders. So finish with that one, on to the next. Okay, so for this next one, these are called Scapular Retractions. This is going to work on more of those rotator cuff muscles, a little more external rotation with more added resistance. And you're doing both at the same time instead of just one. So palms face up, hands right outside shoulder width. Again, the more narrow your grip, the tougher it's going to be. You're just going to pull it apart. So you want to keep those elbows close into the ribs, pulling it right apart. The biggest thing you want to focus on is keeping the elbows in, and as you're seeing on my back, you want to be pinching the shoulder blades together. If a resistance band is too much for you, you can do these and also get a good workout in range of motion just by using your hands, just opening up the doors. So she's going to do 10. If you're feeling like this is easy, you can go for the second set of 10 and possibly even the third set of 10. If 3 sets of 10 is easy for you, I would move on to the next resistance band. For this next one, we're going to have her do some rows and some lat pull downs. So she will be grabbing the handle. I'll hold the band since I'm right here. If you cannot have somebody to hold it for you, you can always loop it into a door handle if you need to. So we're going to have hands out, pulling right to the sides of the ribs. So we're going to do rows first. So as you can see, she's drawing the elbows back, allowing it to relax forward, all the way back, pinching her shoulder blades together on the way back. So she's just pinching those shoulder blades, pinching the shoulder blades. You can do these in sets of 10s. We're going to do one set of 10 of each. Feel free to move on to the second set of 10 if it's easy, and the third set of 10 if you really want a good challenge. Nextly, we're going to do the lat rows. So I'll be holding from right here. She's just going to pull it down right to her sides. Right like that. Right to the sides of the hips. Keeping those shoulder blades down. So as she does them, she's keeping these shoulders down as she can, not scrunching up here. That's going to cause more neck pain and a lot more trap tension. So finishing the 10. I usually will alternate these, 10 of one, 10 of the other, and repeat as needed or as necessary. And finished. So that wraps it up. That was everything we had for you for this rehab video. Hopefully you are not as in much pain as when you started. You may feel some soreness, some discomfort, especially if there's a lot of little muscles like those small rotator cuff muscles that you probably don't work out as often as we all should. Some stretches that you probably will feel some discomfort from, but you need to kind of work out and move those muscles to kind of reactivate some of them, lengthen some of the muscles you need to, hopefully reversing some of the damage of bad posture, bad lifting, neglect in general, tightening up a lot of times, or bad sleeping. Feel free to repeat what you do need to repeat for as many times as you can actually feel it. Might want to go the first time you do this a little easy, just because a lot of those small muscles you're using you're not going to be used to. We usually do feel pretty rough on the first couple times you do it, but as you move through it, maybe trying it like 3 times a week. I can't prescribe exercise because I'm not a doctor, but I am working at a physical therapy place, and a lot of times we do a lot of these movements over and over again. We see a lot of patients who have a lot of the same symptoms, and we'll move through a lot of these general exercises to kind of help with the neck and shoulder pain. Please let us know if you like this one, have any recommendations. We will be trying to push out the low back video sometime soon, no promises. Hope you enjoyed it. Repeat as needed. Do it often if you feel like it's working and it's helping you. Keep repeating it. Don't do it every day. Try to split it up by a day or two, maybe like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, something like that, just to get you moving, but not to overdo it. We don't want to overtrain and cause any injuries. So that wraps it up. That sums up everything. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, cell phones, etc. Thanks. Hope to see you guys next time.